Greetings, everyone. This support group initiative actually arose about a couple of years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. I was organizing all sorts of interviews and conversations and meeting all sorts of new people, and it was all very exciting. Except at one point, I got a message saying, "This is all great, but it actually doesn't do anything. It helps us with our research for the documentary, but in actual fact of having an impact in the world, let's put our love in action." And I actually saw a newspaper on my bed, sort of in a funny kind of vision, which had love in action on the front of it. And it got me thinking, and from that point, I actually started doing the charity campaign promotions, which hasn't really gone very far because we're not a huge organisation as yet. Hopefully that'll come. Just recently, talking to a number of different people, the support group issue seemed to rise up again. People are in need. And we want to be of service, and there's so many great people who are involved in Beyond Being Human that I felt to invite them into doing something like this. And so it's going to be a number of different people doing an hour or two once a month, and we'll schedule those through the month. And so there might be 2 or even 3 different sessions in any one week. And that is also to provide a sort of variation on a theme. Like, we don't want to totally focus all on extraterrestrials, for instance, or paranormal, or anything like that. We can encompass all of it via all of the different people who have expertise in these areas. So I would like to welcome everyone here. I'm Michael David, the founder of Beyond Being Human. If you haven't seen me before, I don't come on screen very often. I'm a reluctant presenter, so to speak. But this is very exciting for me, and it is really the beginning of building the larger part of the community too. So if you feel you like what we're doing and whatever, I'd encourage you to make a donation, because our expenses are going through the roof, and at the moment I am covering pretty much all of it. We don't want to hold anyone back, so if you can, that's fantastic. So I think now I might pass us on to Tanis, who's been an absolute gem in the backstage area, helping us present these things in her StreamYard. And she has a show on Beyond Being Human called Explorations. And you're going to start seeing a lot of videos coming out through that. From my point of view, what we're doing now, leading up to the actual production of the documentary, hopefully that'll be happening early next year, is gathering more and more research and working out who actually is going to be in the documentary. And for me, that's very exciting. Here we go. Tanis, the group of people who are going to be the support group hosts is going to be growing. So keep an eye on that page, beyondbeinghuman.org/support-groups. And you can see there, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, there's a whole lot of different links listed on that page. So you can send those to your friends. And over to you, Tanis. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. And here is our list of presenters for the moment for our support groups. So I would like to invite Susan on.
I'm not Susan.
I know you're not. You're still here. We're going to remove you now. Welcome, Susan. And we'd love for you to share an opening for our session, if you don't mind,
Well,
please.
thank you so much, Michael, and thank you, Tanis, for allowing me to be here. And Michael asked me if I would open with a prayer. And I have a very special one, which is a translation by Lakota Sioux Chief Yellowlark in 1887. And you may be familiar with this as the Great Spirit Prayer. So if you would just take a moment to presence yourself, maybe take a deep breath, feel your feet on the floor, and just be present in the present moment. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds, and whose breath gives life to all the world. Hear me. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever hold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Help me remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes toward me. Help me find compassion without empathy overwhelming me. I seek strength, not to be greater than my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes. So when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. Gunochish.
Beautiful, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us and bringing that forward. I'm wondering if you could perhaps tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, we're going to start out with me here, huh? Well,
I am. You're on, so let's start with you.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll just give a very brief introduction of myself. I have 3 names. My English name is Susan Stark Christensen. My Hebrew name from my mother's side is Sarah, means princess. And my Tlingit name is Chaaksik. It means eagle daughter. And I was adopted by Tlingit elder James Wilbur Walton Klaak. I'm Kagwantan Wolf from Sitka, Shika. And my house is the Eagle Nest House. And I do a lot of different things. Professionally, I'm a writer and a filmmaker. But as it relates to beyond being human, I've spent many, many years of my life being involved with a circle of grandmothers. I did a documentary called The Wisdom of the Grandmothers, and I interviewed grandmothers from the farthest north place in Earth, in Chersky, in the Saha Republic, Russia, all the way down to Argentina, the almost most southern place on Earth. And I did this in response to a teaching of my elder that says there won't be peace on earth without the voices of the grandmothers, without the voices of women. So one of the things I learned is that one of the things that we as women can uniquely bring to the world is bringing people together in circle. And I've been involved in a grandmother circle for more than 15 years. And one of the things that I've learned is the beauty of a teaching, which is called heart sharing and sacred listening. And it's through this teaching of learning to listen to each person as if the voice of the Creator were speaking, and learning to listen with our hearts and speak with our hearts, not so much from our minds in response to what others said, that it helps to bring about healing when we're brought into that sacred space. So Michael and Beyond Being Human has blessed me with meeting Rachel, and hopefully you can bring Rachel on next. And Rachel has been willing to work with me to offer a support group using this format through Beyond Being Human. And we're very, very grateful just to give people the opportunity to come in, practice these teachings, and hopefully have healing and acceptance and love. So we use a traditional feather to pass the feather from one person to the next, or we can use a talking stick or a virtual feather. So I'd like to pass the feather to my wonderful new and dear friend, Rachel, and co-facilitator.
Thank you so much, Susan. It is a pleasure, and I am so excited to be a part of Beyond Being Human and be a part of the support group with you and to meet everyone here. It has been a wonderful experience so far, and I've met a lot of really wonderful people. And Beyond Being Human has been an interesting surprise stop in my journey. I unexpectedly signed up on a website and just wanting to learn more. There was a lot of content on Beyond Being Human that interested me. And I just knew I wanted to be a part of it. And I wanted to spend more time on that website, learning more things. So I joined the membership, and it has just been absolutely wonderful. It's a great value. It has all the resources in one place, like a gigantic hub of information, and it has educational offerings and now these support groups. So I'm excited to be a part of the support groups because of my own journey. Have experienced some childhood trauma from my past that has been really challenging for me, panic attacks, so on and so forth. And even just being able to be here and speak on screen is really hard for me. So it's been a journey for me, and I'm in my own support group through therapy. And I've always said from the very beginning, this is such a wonderful thing to do, to be in a support group and to help others. And I knew that I wanted to do that one day. So I am, as part of my own journey for myself, excited and happy to help others also going through that. And I feel like we can all be there for each other. And that is why I'm here today. I hope that I can be of service. So thank you. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. It's been lovely to meet both of you. And I'm just wondering if you would mind just telling people a little bit about how you will go through your support group. What kind of things will you be offering?
This practice of sacred listening and heart sharing is a practice. In the West, I know that many of our upbringing has been to always be, when we are listening to someone else, we're in our heads thinking about how we will respond or react, how we're reacting to that. Or when we're listening to someone else, we're formulating or thinking about, what am I going to say when it's my turn? And so one of the practices of sacred listening that was shared with us by grandmother Diane Eichenen and her late husband, the late Lakota elder Gilbert Walking Bull, is that when we can listen to each person as if the voice of the Creator were speaking, we're not here to fix each other or offer each other advice. We're simply here to hold space and presence each other's journey. The other part of the practice is learning how to share, again, not so much what's in our brains or in our head, but the practice of learning to share what's really in our heart, who we really are. And over the years that I've been involved in the grandmother circles, and I've been learning to do that better, I have found it to be such a healing space to be able to hold that space that's sacred as well as open for people who come to share whatever is their journey. So I pass the feather to Rachel.
Thank you, Susan. And I completely mirror that. It's all about being there for other people, being in community, being able to hold someone's hand and let them know that it's okay. You don't necessarily need to interject, you just need to let someone know that you're listening and you care and you understand, and that, we can be there to support you. And I just can't think of a better way to show that to somebody. So I'm really, really hoping we can offer that for other people as well, and that they find value in it like we do. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Hello, Michael.
I just wanted to say how much I appreciate both Susan and Rachel from different points of view. Like Susan and I got to know each other when she wanted to come to Australia and wanted to, network and gather some resources and help. And Megan, who's here, I think maybe in the backstage area also. And over time, like this is going back a while now, and we had lots of discussions, and we were liaising with the Aboriginal community around there. But beyond that, excuse the pun, her group, which I think the link is on screen now, is that right, Tanis?
This is the one that you sent me here.
The link is beyondbeinghuman.org, Susan-Stark-Christensen. And you can find that, but you can find her in the flight crew listings for the support groups. I've been going to Susan's Baha'i group every now and then, and absolutely loving it because it's a fairly unique kind of gathering. Like ego just doesn't appear ever. And everyone is so supportive, and it's just been wonderful. And on Susan's page, there is a link there to email her to get the Zoom link to go on every week, which is incredible. But also with Rachel, like she said, just sort of out of the blue, she responded to Beyond Being Human's call for new members. And I just felt like, well, I do this generally, like any new member, I'll reach out and say, oh, do you want to have a bit of a chat? And I find out what they're on about and what they're interested in and how I can help. And so we did that. And I think nearly every day since, and that's going back months, we've actually been chatting on, like, I'll share resources and all sorts of different kinds of things. And obviously I probably can't do that for every single member, but I mean, it's actually starting to grow. Like some of the resources that I send you, I share amongst a group of people. But I mean, from my point of view, Rachel's a lovely person, and it's interesting that she has come to be a co-host, because this, as she said, is directly serving her need by being of service to help get out there and make a difference in the world. And that's what we're all about. So thank you. I'll disappear now.
So the next person I'd like to bring on is Jennifer Tchaikovsky. She and I will be doing a group together. Maybe you'd like to tell people a little bit about you, Jen.
So I am Jennifer Tchaikovsky. I am a registered psychotherapist, a certified Canadian counselor, and an intuitive life coach. So much to tell. And yet, I just am me. I'm honored to be a part of the Beyond Being Human support groups. And I'm also very new to this community. From the moment I was introduced to it, just absolutely fell in love with it and all that Beyond Being Human is trying to bring forward in terms of building a community and a space for people to connect and grow and journey together. Right. And so that's what this is all about, is our journeying together. So when I was asked to be a part of the support groups, like I said, I was absolutely honored to be able to hold that space for others who are on this journey. And, we don't always have the ability to find community, and community is so very important. And this is something that Tanis and I talk about with the community that we're building, and to be able to do that here together is a privilege, and I'm super excited to be a part of the process.
It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to doing it with you as well. We've worked together quite a few times, so it's fun to do it again, and looking forward to doing that. I'll just say a little bit about myself, just so that you guys, because we want you guys to be able to decide what groups that you want to pick. That's why we're on here today, is really to give you a little bit of background about us so that you can choose which support groups you want to go to, when you want to go to them, because, we might need different tools for different days. I am an energy healer, and I work with all sorts of different modalities, Reiki and Aqualead and Nupti, as well as doing a lot of Ho'oponopono work, forgiveness stuff, and I'm a Celtic shamanic high priestess, so I do some ceremonial healings and that type of thing as well. And so I think I speak for Jen as well when we say we're going to do pretty much a variety of different things. We both have the energy healing background. Of course, Jen has some counseling as well, so we will probably do a beautiful blend of both. They certainly complement each other. So I have a feeling that'll be kind of what we're going to go for. Does that sound about right, Jen?
That sounds about right. I loved, Susan and Rachel, as you were talking, just that idea of holding space. And it's such an important thing to be able to do that. And we talk about support, and support is about meeting you where you're at, right? About showing up together and holding that space and figuring out what is needed in that moment. And so we can have ideas of things planned, but so much of this work is really going to be about just showing up and holding that space for one another and journeying together. And so as we, begin the process, we might find, we thought we were going to talk about this, but we're going to talk about that instead. And that's okay, right? Because that's what we're needing to do in that moment to help us all along the journey. And so we invite you to come in and just be open, right? To whatever it is that needs to unfold. And as the energy unfolds, it's so beautiful because we often find this collective energy that we tap into. We're all tapped into it. We're all feeling it. We're all connected with it. And so whatever it is that you're bringing to the table, chances are you're not the only one bringing that to the table, right? So, it's just going to be an open, I love to say open and curious. Let's just be open and curious about what is meant to unfold, and just hold space for that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Jennifer. I also wanted to encourage people, as Beyond Being Human grows, this idea of having circles and support group and different people come in and offer their gifts. I would encourage anyone watching or anyone interested to try them all out and, see where it fits for you. There's no judgment. There's no right or wrong way or on your path. You might relate to some people differently at different times of your life. You might need different things. So I appreciate the fact that Tanis and Jennifer have so many skills, and Rachel as well, and other people that might be coming in to offer these groups. And I just encourage people who are watching to consider being part of a circle, especially if your experiences have left you feeling outside of or other than. I think all of us who are here today really want to stress that we are all one. We're all united, and even if our paths have brought us from very different places, we all have something to offer in this world. And we don't want you to feel other. We want you to feel a part of. So thank you, Tanis and Jennifer, for letting me share that.
Oh, we thank you for doing that, Susan. That's awesome. A couple of us have shows as well that we'll be preparing or doing. So I do have explorations, as Michael said. So we do have a little banner for that. I think there. It's a lot of fun. We do all sorts of different stuff on there. And we'll have him speak about one of the other presenters or one of the other support group people who was unfortunately not able to make it today.
And I've actually known Hildegard for a couple of years. She has a wealth of experience herself. She's a walk-in, but also very sort of spiritually minded. And yeah, we'll be doing other sessions, and maybe Tanis can even interview Hildegard. She's a fascinating woman. And while I'm on stage, the reluctant presenter that I am, I'd like to read this little statement about Beyond Being Human, but it is also the basis of where we're going with the support groups. So, responding to an emerging global spiritual awakening, counterpoint to the global anxiety, ecology, wars, political upheavals, etc., Beyond Being Human takes a higher perspective, uncovering the true nature of our human potential, linked to divinity, parallel to other dimensions. We explore our multidimensional nature via ancestral soul connections, communication with unseen entities such as angels, the Fey realm, even our galactic family, which Indigenous people call our Star Nations family, or Sky people. As the UFO disclosure unfolds, we learn how frequently ETs may impinge on our reality. This is mostly dismissed due to the lack of scientific evidence. We here at Beyond Being Human and this whole group dare to face the abyss of disbelief. And Tanis, probably this is an opportunity to mention about the Alliance.
So one of our partner agencies, I work with them as well, and it's the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact. We are working behind the scenes for the UN to make some changes for the Geneva Convention to allow for diplomatic contact. We're also working on finding some land somewhere in the world that we can expropriate and to build an embassy for them, just to give an anchored space just for them when they do come down. Yeah, so we're working on those initiatives, and we have a documentary that is going to be produced, and we have a crowdfunding thing right now, working on that. So I will share that link as well in the comments. There were a couple of other people that we wanted to just bring in. Stone Hobbit is going to be joining us as well in the future for the support groups. I do have a question that I'd like to address before I bring her on. Actually, we did have a question about, will the sessions all be at the same days and times? And they're all going to be at specific times, I believe, during the month. And but each of us will have our own time. So they're different times of day, is what I'm saying. So please let us know if there is a time that is not working for you, and we will try to adjust or add things as well. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at with that. And I'd like to bring on Stone Hobbit, please. Stone Hobbit. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Would you like to tell people a little bit about what you do, please?
Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here and working with such vibrant people. Okay, so I also have a group. It's called Hearthfire Hangout, and we also work in designing the tools that we need to manage the situations that come into our lives. So, as part of Hearthfire, we cultivate a vibrant community centered around commonality and growth. Our mission is to empower individuals to navigate the complexities of life through the exploration of frequency signatures and higher self-awareness, and also getting in touch with your inner self. We've developed different methods of reaching your inner self, your inner self-awareness, and this is where we start with the healing state. So we do all sorts of issues, from post-traumatic stress disorder. I come from quite a dark background, like some of the other presenters, and I've had to find my own methods that would work on me. And over the times, I've done this method with other persons going through the same complexities, and we've managed to find our way through it. So if it works for me and it works for others around me, then there's a possibility it will work for you too. So, and it's not about the big issue, it's about starting small. Come to group, there'll be something on offer for everybody. No matter what the stages are that you're at, we can cater to all. So yes. How's that?
Beautiful.
I mean, I can go down so many rabbit holes about the different areas of contact and experiences and like that, but there's going to be something on offer for everybody. So it's a real pleasure being part of this collective. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I'll put this up just for a moment. This is going to be where you'll find all the support groups on the website. So you'll be able to see the times and spaces and stuff when they're offered on that website. Stone, would you like to tell some of your weird experiences?
Oh, okay. Life is a weird experience for me. All right. Well, I used to suffer from things like night terrors and sleep paralysis, and I see shadow beings coming in and out, and I've gone into other dimensions. I have a lot of communication with different varieties of orbs. They're not just all energy beings, they're also ships and all sorts of crazy stuff. Now, the orbs that I talk about are not the orbs that everybody else is generalizing out there at the moment. Those ones I call plasma spheres. They are the orange plasma spheres that I see. They come in. I've got footage of them coming up quite close. One set of them came through the roof of the house and morphed into two light beings, went down the end, round over, leaned over top of me. I'm making it as fast as I can so that you'll have to come and listen to the whole story sometime. I've had a lot of different journeys where guides have come along and they've taught me things. They've shown me things. I have different abilities, different senses. I'm not one for labeling them. I'm more for one of sharing the abilities at the time. I've become telepathic with those closest around me. We do a lot of experiments in Hearthfire. We're always testing our abilities, our mediumship, our ESP, our remote viewing. So there's something for everybody. We've got people that are communicating with other entities all the time. And for me, it's always been about holding the truth frequency and realizing that all our abilities are just levels of communication. Once we learn how to use those levels, we start seeing that, wow, those abilities are right there and they're more intensified because we're always moving forward. Too many experiences to list just right off the bat like that. So I hope that's fun for you. Check out my site and you'll see how weird I really am.
Well, I think those are probably part of your motivation for doing the support groups, I would think.
My motivation started when I reached out for help in so many areas, all the areas that told us this is where you go to get your help, right? And after years of counseling and being bounced from one place to another, I realized they weren't doing anything good for me, and I had to find my own way through it. And once I had done that, I realized it is actually working for me. I've just got to keep practicing it. So then I started practicing it. I started sharing it with others around me and started seeing a positive outcome. So this is where it's come. There's a lot of people out there that just want to be heard. They just need to be heard just once. But once they figure out they can be heard every single day by their inner self, their inner voice, and how powerful they truly are, that is what motivated me, is to see how beautiful and amazing we truly are as these energy beings. And that's what I'm bringing. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And let's maybe go through each of us and why do we want to do these support groups? Why is it important for us to do this work? Susan, let's start with you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for everything that's already been shared. I wanted to echo something that Michael said earlier in his motivation for starting this. The times that we're living in now are difficult times. I've lived through 7 decades, and I know that the times that we're living in now are challenging for many, many people. And my motivation for wanting to share some skill sets that I've learned from my elders and learned along the way is to be of service. And I believe everybody who's on this call, we share in that motivation. If you're out there, we're not looking to make money or promote ourselves. As a matter of fact, one of my parameters in agreeing to do this with Michael is that there's no charge. If people have money and want to donate to Beyond Being Human, they're free to do that, and it's very well accepted and loved. But I'm here, and I believe all of us are, to be of service and to let people know that, at least from my own upbringing and my own background, these times that we're living in are prophecy times. We're actually, as difficult as they may be, we're blessed to be alive in these times. We've maybe chosen to be alive in these times because we're building something new. We're building something that has never been there before. We're building a new civilization that's around unity, around a recognition of one world. We have the opportunity to raise our voices for peace. And so that's just my motivation. I don't have any particular skills other than what I've learned through life and through Indigenous teachings and through the grandmothers. But I want to be the person for you, if you're out there and you can relate, to tell you that no matter how many difficulties you may be going through, you can get through it to the other side. And you can reach out and we'll be there for you. Someone will be there for you. Please don't give up hope. So thank you for asking that question and for allowing me to speak to it. Tanis Kunashish, thank you.
Thank you. For myself, I know how important it is to hold space for each other. And so that is a primary thing, right? To know that somebody's there and can hold space for you. And that is a big motivation for me. And like Susan, the love and bringing compassion to this world and kindness, treating each other that way. And this is just my way of being of service. So let's see what Jennifer would like to add to that.
For me, it is also that holding space. I really appreciate, Stone, when you shared about a bit of your journey. And it's true, so often people on this spiritual journey with the different experiences that come along with this journey, traditional forms of help are not always as understanding or as open. And so being able to have a space where we can work together and honor each other from the, we want to talk about mind, body, spirit, right? We want to do the whole of your experience and what you're here to, to go through and to grow from and to learn and to develop and all of what makes that the reality that you're experiencing, right? And to be able to just say, yeah, we're in this together and we're going to be able to navigate it together. And there isn't, that same kind of stigma or judgment on some of the spiritual community experiences because we're all there going through that together, right? And so that's a big piece with my practice and with being a part of these groups is very much being able to hold space for all that we are on each level.
Beautiful, thank you. And let's have motivational reason from Rachel as well.
So I think I kind of mentioned before a little bit, my motivation is in part my own journey and me still learning to be in community and feel that support from others and get supported enough that I can heal from some of the things that I'm going through. But at the same time, I want to be able to offer that to others and let them know what I've learned so far and that I got here. The fact that I'm even able to be here today among these wonderful people is amazing. I mean, 6 months ago, I wouldn't be able to talk on screen. There's just no way. And I still have hard moments, but it's been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot, and I want others to feel that support. And I want you to know that you're not alone. I can say that in my own journey, something that commonly happens to me is I self-isolate. I want to go into my own, and I want to be away from community. And that's what is the most comfortable thing for me. But I'm finding and learning by pushing myself to be part of these groups. I'm making wonderful friends, and suddenly it's starting to feel a little bit more normal to be in community with people, to share and to have others say, yeah, I understand that. I've been through that. Or, I can understand what you're experiencing. Tell me more about that. It's a wonderful thing to be able to share and learn from one another. So yes, thank you. And I hope to see everybody there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's bring on Maureen Edwardson, who is also going to be joining us once a month. Welcome, Maureen. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, and what motivated you to join us for the support groups.
Anyhow, I'm just grateful to be here, and I thank you all for including me, and especially Michael. We've been connected and friends for a couple of years. I got to go to Australia earlier this year and meet in person and hang out, which was lovely. Anyhow, I am a grandmother. I have 2 daughters, 39 and 41, soon to change, like happens. And 2 grandchildren, a 4-year-old little boy who's just been diagnosed on the autism range, and a 6-year-old, her active granddaughter. So that is my heart, that is my reason for being in so many ways. And beyond that, I'm the mother of many, and I'm really grateful for the mission that I have in life. And if I wasn't actually engaged in that mission, I'm not really sure if I would be here. That's how it's felt so strong. And you talked, Susan, about these times being one of prophecy. And I developed, and am in my 34th year, a system called Inner Resonance Technologies, which is ultimately very empowering, and it's space holding. And it's a system, it's a formula of questions that are all simple questions that are all predisposed to yes, like, are you breathing? Really hard question. However, they're designed to be, it's a formula that's designed to catalyze your superconscious, the part of you that is apparently beyond being human. Although I think we are now needing to redefine a lot of our terms, because what is human? Hu is another name for God. So we are God man. So that gives us license to fly and to go beyond and in expanded realities that Stone was speaking of, that we all have gifts within. And it's time to wake up those gifts. And so I help people catalyze their quantum superconscious self beyond the conscious mind and beyond their bodies need to process or act anything out, for a fast track, not a bypass, but a fast track for clearing all of the stuff that's in our way that's no longer relevant. Unresolved issues of one kind or another, or the sensitivities that many of us have, all of us have, but some more consciously of it than others, of empathing and acting out what's around us, and it's not even our stuff. So one of my programs has been being Michelangelo. So it's like Michelangelo as our higher self, and our quantum superconscious self sees a clear vision within the block of marble that's called life. And that knows how to chip away and reveal our magnificence and allow us to be our greatest selves beyond being human, and access what many would consider our superpowers. And yet they're all intrinsically within the program that we are and that we have access to. So it's really a delight, and it's so much fun not to have to, dredge through the sludge in order to be finally in a place where we can feel light and shine our gifts into the world. It can happen a lot easier and a lot faster beyond the conditioning and program of struggle that we all have been subject to, me no less than anyone else. However, so my reason for being is that there is a prophecy around this work that I've known for a very long time. To say this is my 34th year of doing this work, and I teach others, and just like pebbles in ponds everywhere, that we're all lighting up, we're all brightening up, we're all creating a new level of positive influence in our own lives and those around us in our communities. But the prophecy is because this is such a simple, very fast but profound technique, if you want to call it that. It's actually designed for these times of the great shift of the ages, where we have all these polycrises, and we really need to step up very quickly and have solutions that, almost like magic. I love humor, and I often will talk about, let's transmogrify. What's transmogrification? Inner resonance transmogrification. And if any of you know the cartoon Calvin and Hobbes, Calvin was the little boy who had his stuffed tiger, Hobbes, and they had a cardboard box. And to shapeshift their reality, in their imagination, they would jump into this cardboard box, which is a magic cupboard that they could, transform into anything and everything, everywhere all at once, like magic. So here we are in these times of activating our inner transmogrification program, that we can shapeshift our realities in the same way that I was able to, after a heart attack in May in Ibiza, right after Australia. I had a week at home and then went to Ibiza for a conference with the Holo movement. I had a heart attack. Like, oh my gosh, I was so surprised. I'm not scared, because I know that I have, more to do here. So in the meantime, yes, with all the loving prayers of support and love and my own inner, IRT work, 3 days later, the doctor checked for the 70% blockage. The first one was 100% blocked. 2 stents got put in. And so the 70% block was completely clear. They were so mystified that they actually went in a week early to have a look around, and they couldn't find anything. So they kicked me out of the hospital 3 hours later, and 4 days later, I was on a plane, 18 hours on my own, back to Canada, back to Vancouver, where I live. So, we all have our magical selves. And by the way, I have a gift for everybody for the holiday season until the new year. On my website, maureenedwardson.com, there's a free download of my book, which is Your Magical Evolutionary Code Unleashed, The Science of Inner Resonance. And I'm so grateful to be endorsed by Dr. Bruce Lipton on the front cover and on his website. That's magical in and of itself. It just happened. So, life can just happen, and all the goodness can drop in because it's already there for us. So it's just about clearing the blocks. Like Rumi says, don't seek for love, seek to remove the blocks to love. And then everything just falls in and is available for us, because it's who we are, and we're part of each other, and there is no separation. So we get to operate in a greater field of oneness and love, without judgment, without resistance. A definition of resistance in an electrical circuit is zero resistance allows maximum flow of energy. So, we're all in our own ways coming together to support each other and support the world with the gifts that we bring of presence. And that's what it's about. I hold space and I hold presence. There's nothing I do to or for anyone. And I'm really happy about that. I know how to do stuff. I don't do anything, because everybody has everything within them. So activating and helping to catalyze and hold space as people wake themselves up. That's why I'm here. And that's what keeps me alive and activated, especially at the age of 75. I feel I'm just starting my next 75. And I plan at least to be living until 150. That's what the science tells us is apparently normal, or within our normal capacity. And so we're robbing ourselves of more joy, more love, more light, and more creativity, more inspiration. And these are the times, to get beyond being human, beyond the struggle, into that next level of playing and dancing and creating together. Hooray! So that's me.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maureen. It was great to hear from you. And we have one more to bring on now. It's Simon Hinton. Can you please let us know a little bit about yourself?
I just really enjoyed Maureen's presentation because she uses the word transmogrify, which is one of my favorite words. And I also happen to live in Ibiza, so that was cool. Anyway, yeah, I'm Simon Hinton. I recently moved to Ibiza from London, and I've been an energy healer for quite a few decades now, teaching people. I run the London Reiki School. I teach on retreats around the world, particularly around the quantum field. So I made a discovery about nearly 30 years ago that the quantum field equated to the supernal triad and the Ein Sof in the Jewish Kabbalah. And that the abyss was Planck's length, which is basically the difference between manifest existence and potential existence. And on the back of that, I channeled a lot of technology. So I've worked with a lot of extraterrestrials from all different star systems, consistently had really quite extraordinary phenomenal visitations and experiences. And the last 10 years, I've been running a magical order called the Temple of Flow, based predominantly in London, but we have initiates in different parts of the globe, working very much on the land. So I work with geomancy, and we've made some very important discoveries, not just in London, but also in the south of France, where I'm very linked to the Cathar tradition. I am a reincarnated Templar. I wasn't an actual Cathar, but I'm very linked to the Cathar tradition in the south of France, which was the group of Magdalena-based Gnostic Christians that emerged around the 11th century. I'm writing a book about that at the moment. I teach Karuna Reiki, and I also channeled my own healing system called Harmonic Resonance Healing and the Angelic Code, which showed me with absolute scientific clarity how the light body in this current entropic state actually exists. And the decoding of that light body has enabled me under certain circumstances to help people dissolve, collapse, and neutralize and ameliorate karmic imprints in the field, which are held as kind of coagulated dissonance within the expanded light body. So I do a lot of light body technology. I try and keep things real and simple and straightforward, and most of all pragmatic, because we live in a third dimensional reality, even though we're multidimensional beings. And so I like to keep things real and grounded, and working with the land really helps me do that, and working with geomancy and rituals for creating global peace. So I've got a group on Facebook, if anybody's interested, called the Cathar's Return, Lifting the Curse of Rome. Michael knows about it. I'm really supportive of Michael's project. I think it's fantastic what he's doing, and we have a great synergy together. My group basically facilitates global healing rituals. We do about 35 rituals a year at specific times in the astrological calendar, which working particularly with the moon cycles, and we work with the pagan wheel, the medicine wheel, the 8 solar points as well. And we have different initiates, including some of my own children working with me because they're really into this as well, working with the land. And I've got many different traditions I've been access to. So I've worked with things like, the witchcraft tradition and also the Melchizedekian tradition. And at the end of the day, it's all energy, okay? So I work with different ideas and different technologies, if you like, esoteric technologies, to help people be the better versions of themselves. I know it sounds a bit of a cliche, but we are all stepping up, and there are keys to shortcutting those processes to fast track the evolution, which we definitely need to do for humanity to help us avoid the Armageddon timeline, which I'm very eager to avoid, and operate in a different kind of way where we are connected, as people have said here tonight, in unity consciousness. So the recognition of the interconnectedness of all things, that everything is interconnected. And yet, paradoxically, within that interconnection or flow, we have our own individuality. So the sovereign nature of ourselves can emerge from that grand unity, and yet we are still part of that hologram. So it's to understand and recognize those paradigms, and also really try and help people to integrate these understandings. A lot of people I'm noticing, because I've been doing this work a long time, are waking up, and a lot of them get confused when they have those spiritual experiences, particularly if they have no formal spiritual or practical esoteric training. So I try and just give people a little bit of structure, a little bit of ideas, and keep it simple, keep it real, and to deliver to them, where I can, a catalyzation of their own natural power. So it's never about rescuing or saving or healing in that sense. It's always about activating and entraining the recipient so that they can rise up and be the best version of themselves. Because all of us have these latent abilities. All of us have the potential within our DNA framework. All of us have the abilities to be conduits for the divine. All of us can be gateways for something far beyond the limitations of the cerebral cortex. So, I try and introduce both science and spirituality and integrate them to show that they are, as they originally were, all form part of a continuum. There's different ways of looking at things, and in those different ways enable us to get a better perspective of reality, and to try and find some kind of navigation, because I think that's very important at the moment with such a mass awakening, so that people can have some things to kind of hold on to and just be a guide for them as they wake up, as they expand, as they release their trauma, as they release their karma, etc. So that's me, and Michael has just asked me to run some support groups. Well, I have lots of people following my work. I've just building a quantum academy, putting my teachings online now. So I would be more than happy to run a support group, Michael. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you. So we're going to hear from Michael again.
Thanks, Simon. And I'm so glad you're joining our crew. I also wanted to talk about my being initiated into support. And several years ago, I had an angelic encounter, which totally changed my life and led to the unfolding of Beyond Being Human. And I've said that many times, and people are probably bored with it. But it continues to unfold in these ways. So when I had that angelic encounter, I was doing workshops with a guy called Robert Kirby in Sydney. And I actually invited him today, but I didn't get a response. He's super busy. He's a high-level sort of mentor and does groups all the time. He very generously gave me access to do many, many workshops over a period of a year or two. It was very intense. And I relate to Rachel and remembering where I was at that time, where for me to talk in front of a class of 20 people, my heart would be pounding, I'd be sweating and just like would freeze up sentence by sentence kind of thing. Robert's work with me really helped immensely. Like I probably couldn't do what I'm doing now even because of that. And I just want to say, like, where we all come from, I feel, is an attitude of loving, to be sure, but compassion and kindness seems to be a new answer. Well, it's an old answer, but it is growing now. The need for kindness and compassion is growing immensely. And I'm hearing from people, as I said earlier, just how much more need there is coming about with all of these problems, which aren't new, but it seems like it's growing in intensity. And that's part of our ascension or expansion of consciousness. I think it's really important to look at how we do interact all the time. I've recently been through instances of like living with people who were kind of driven by anger. And it was a real test for me to stay in a place of love and acceptance and understanding. And I think in what we're offering here in these support groups, it's a place for you to feel free and cared for. We do hope you participate. And just keep an eye on that beyondbeinghuman.org/support-groups page, because that's where all of the information is going to be posted as an archival kind of thing and be updated all the time, as well as joining our newsletter. And there'll be actually a special separate newsletter just for support groups where all of us will have a little say and let us know what is happening next month or things like that. And I also wanted to mention we'll be having special guests occasionally, like some of the support group hosts will invite people and I'll invite people. And I wanted to put a shout out to people who have been working in this way for a long, long time. Like, we're just the new kids on the block. But people like Misha Johnston and Kathleen Marden and Mary Rodwell and like just so many other people have been doing similar kinds of things. I recently I had an email from Kathleen Marden saying that she has closed her group to new people because she's full up. So that indicates there is so much demand. And anyway, I'll pass it back to you, Janice. Thank you, everyone here.
Thank you, Michael. I think we've heard from most of us here. I'm wondering if anybody has anything else that they would like to add.
I just have one comment I'd like to add, and it's in line with what Michael has said about the power of love. I think that if someone is watching and they don't resonate with anyone here that they would like to continue on their journey with, I would like to just encourage them to find someone. There are so many people out there who are teachers, but also who can help. And in my own community, there have been a lot of young people that have chosen, I hear of them choosing to take their life. And I just want to put out there that I hope that anyone who's feeling that loneliness or not feeling loved or not feeling like they have a community, that you will find someone and know that you are loved and that your life has purpose. And maybe you don't know what it is now, but you will find it and you will get through these times and these difficulties and come out on the other side of whatever it is that you're experiencing. So thank you for letting me add that in. And the last thing I wanted to say is, Michael and I've talked about this a lot. In Indigenous teachings, the Good Red Road is the road from the head to the heart. And it's also the road to the human being. And I just think that we're also experiencing not only how to be beyond being human, but also how to be human in this planet with love. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tanis. Thank you to everyone who's spoken today. And thank you to anyone who's listening for the opportunity to be of service. Gunashi.
Beautiful. Thank you. Before we finish the show, let's bring each of us on and just share something in that same vein. Bringing love, bringing peace, compassion to others. Just a few words. Okay. For me, it's let's lead with love and let love lead us, right? Making our decisions out of love instead of fear. Stone, how about we go to you next?
Yes, I say step in and give your inner child that hug that you've longed for, because you have the ability to do it. It's fantastic. That's the richest love that I've ever known, when it comes from you, because it's genuine. So you give your love to your inner child and you start doing that healing. So thank you.
Thank you. And Rachel, shall we have you come up next, please?
So I think I just want to say that, love does come from within, and that I know that there have been times that I've not felt love even for myself. And you have to start there. And even if you can't, if that's not something that you're capable of in the moment, come into community with us and feel it from the others and build that up for yourself, because it is in there and it is possible to feel it. I promise you that. So thank you.
You know, it's a beautiful thing if we can step into a place where we can just see the possibility of love. We can find that anything is possible. And sometimes it's as simple as Rumi says, exhale only love. Can I just hold a space so that whatever comes out of me holds that energy, and see how transformative that can be?
So the eternal question always for me in any situation that I find myself in, when I'm wondering, how I'm wondering to respond, the question is, what would love do? And the other reminder is that we're here to play. We're here to create and inspire and be inspired. And so play in whatever form that is for you, on your own or with others. That's what I love about IRT. It plays well with others. And yes, and just always that question, what would love do? It just simplifies everything into that answer. What would love do? Unconditionally, not what you're supposed to do or what someone needs you to do or anything else. What would love do in this situation, in this moment? Namaste.
Well, somebody actually asked me to give a definition of love once. Of course, the Greeks had 4 different types of words for love, and the highest being agape, which is unconditional. My definition is love is the energy that facilitates union. So love is the all-encompassing force that unites things that should be together. So it helps transcend separation. It is the antithesis of fear. Love is the infinite bonding power of the universe that puts everything back together in the right place where it should be, to dissolve all fragmentation and ameliorate for pure heart-centeredness and peace.
It's fantastic what I'm hearing with all of this, and it's totally in line with the mission of Beyond Being Human. And this is one of my favorite symbols, which I saw in a shop and just had to get it. And yeah, and I also wanted to bring in divinity, the mission that seemed to be conveyed to me in the expression of what Beyond Being Human is. 3 things stood out. We're exploring our multidimensional nature, and we've discussed that a bit. Also, nurturing our divine spark is very important. And the last one that I don't really talk very much about, and we just sort of did, is choosing love always. And that's the 3 things that you're going to find in Beyond Being Human generally. And shameless plug, if you want to become a member, go to the website and you can add the word membership and go directly to how to join and what we've got on offer and all of that. There's so many other people who are now involved in Beyond Being Human. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how this support group platform grows.
And so I want to thank everyone for joining us out there and on here. It's been such a pleasure to have each of you speak from the heart and bring these beautiful support groups forward to share with all of you out there. So please check out the website and all of the links that are below so that you can reach any of us. And we're looking forward to seeing you and having you join our groups and just connecting. So thank you so much, everyone. And I'm going to bring everyone on stage again just for a quick moment. There we are. So we'll just say, have a wonderful day, and we will see you all soon. Thank you so much. Lots of love.